1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Brand new SkyhighcarAudio speakers. Which one do you need? These SkyHi FE series come in a 2.5, 3.5, 6.5, 8-inch, and a 6x9. Now let's go from smallest to biggest. Let's start with the 2.5. Small but mighty. The 2.5 has a single 4-ohm model. It's 60 watts RMS. It has a 1 watt, 1 meter, 82 decibels. The frequency response is 100 hertz to 20 kilohertz. 100 hertz, 20 kilohertz, you know, huge bandwidth. The recommended high pass crossover is 200 hertz, and the mounting depth, what I was talking about earlier, is 1.45 inches from the very bottom of the motor to the underneath of the mounting basket, or from the mounting ring, sorry. Again, making this a super easy speaker to mount inside of like a factory dash replacement, maybe in a pillar. If you wanted to, you could put it in a door. I'm not sure who puts 2.5s in doors, but if you wanted to, you could. If you're limited to, it's an option. We have options. And before I move on, every FE series is sold as a pair. So when you purchase them at skyhighcaraudio.com, the price is per pair, not just one, you get two. Imagine there's a second one here. You get two. Next size up, the 3.5 is obviously a 3.5-inch speaker. It's also a single 4-ohm. 3.5s are 80 watts RMS. The recommended high pass crossover is 180 hertz. And the 3.5s have a frequency response of 80 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So the 3.5 compared to the 2.5 can play 20 hertz less as far as like the frequency bandwidth. So you'll get a little bit more low end out of these guys. So you might want these also in your dash, in your pillars, maybe in your doors. 3.5s are a little more common mounting in your doors than 2.5s, but you know, like I said, we got options still, guys. The mounting depth on the 3.5 is 1.6 inches, so it's a little bit more than the 2.5, but you gain a lot more of a lower end frequency response and a little bit more RMS, and that never hurt anybody. So the 6.5, arguably the most popular size. This might be a little bit easier for you to see everything, by the way. The cone and the dust cap are all carbon fiber on all of the FE series. The 6.5 is also a single 4-ohm model. RMS on the 6.5 are 100 watts. The sensitivity, 1 watt, 1 meter, 89.2 dB. Recommended high pass crossover is 60 hertz. And the frequency response of the 6.5 is 40 hertz to 8,000 hertz or 8 kilohertz. You want to pair the 6.5 with the 3.5, feel free. You want to pair it with a 2.5, feel free. You want to pair it with both, feel free. You can rest assured that all of the frequency responses are going to be covered if you have any combination of those. Moving on to the, what's the next size after 6.5? Is it 8-inch or is it 6x9? Let me know in the comments down below. I don't know like what order to go in, so I'm just going to go with the 8, I guess. One thing I haven't mentioned yet that might be easiest to see on the 8-inch is around the mounting ring. We get SkyhighcarAudio. It's pretty nice. Also get custom tooled baskets with SkyHi imprinted on the basket itself. On the 6.5, 8-inch, and 6x9, we get push terminals. Not shabby. Anyway, more specs. So the 8-inch mid is, if you guessed it, also a single 4-ohm with a 250 watt RMS rating, 88.7 dB sensitivity, 1 watt, 1 meter. Recommended high pass crossover is 60 hertz, and the frequency response is 35 hertz to 8 kilohertz, so even lower than the 6.5 by 5. So you can imagine if you pair an 8 with a 6.5 and a 3.5, or an 8 and a 6.5 and a 2.5, I mean, the frequency response range is going to be beautiful, especially if you have a DSP. You can really fine tune and see everything. Some people do it by their ear, but seeing everything visually on a graph as the crossovers and dB slopes and everything are working magic is a lot easier and a lot cooler to actually see what you're hearing rather than just thinking what you're hearing. Moving on. For me, my favorite position is 69. I mean, my favorite size speaker is 6x9. Same thing with the 6.5 and 8-inch. We get the push terminals, obviously custom tool baskets, SkyHi stamped on there. Carbon fiber cone, carbon fiber dust cap, as well as all of the FE series, as I said previously. So the 6x9, as you probably guessed, is also a single 4-ohm model. 250 watts RMS, 88.6 sensitivity, 1 watt, 1 meter. Recommended high pass crossover is 60 hertz, and the frequency response is 35 hertz to 8 kilohertz or 8,000 hertz. So same response, frequency response as the 8-inch. It just, I guess, depends on which size you prefer or which you can fit, I guess you could say, but both would be a fantastic option. And that's it, guys. SkyHi FE series. Don't forget, 2.5, 3.5, 6.5, 8, and 6x9. All in stock, ready to go. skyhighcaraudio.com. Let us know what you need, which you prefer. If you want to know something more about any specific size of the speaker, let me know. I'd be happy to help in the comments down below. And with that, I think I'm gonna get out of here and go, I don't know, utilize this 6x9 while I can.